Hello, my name is Prime, and welcome back to this episode of ATS Showcases, and today I'm going to be checking out the Cummins Signature 600 straight pipe sound mod that is available on the Steam Workshop, so I'll have a link for it down in the description below. And we're going to be using it today in this Kenworth W900 day cab configuration, of course using the Kenworth W900 tuning pack that is new to ATS. And we're here in Ardmore, Oklahoma, and we're going to haul some cement over to Lawton, and I think it'll be a really nice delivery, short and sweet, but we've got a couple of really cool things to talk about, and of course listen to this beautiful engine. Sounds mighty fine to me. Let's go ahead and get this Kenworth W900 rolling. Hopefully everyone is doing well. I certainly am. We're going to keep this delivery a little bit more on the short and sweet side today, but I think it is going to be a great one indeed. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I certainly am. And may we just listen to this beautiful sound of this 600 series Cummins engine as we pull out here. Once the traffic lightens up a little bit, my word, it's a busy little spot here just outside of Taylor here in Oklahoma. Well, I guess Taylor construction equipment that is. Let's go ahead and listen to this engine. Beautiful stuff indeed. Beautiful stuff indeed. What can I say? It's a fantastic engine mod, highly recommend it. And of course it is free on the Steam Workshop, as per basically all the mods I like to cover around here. That way it's available for everyone, just in case you want to check it out. Beautiful sounds in this truck, and I think this is the kind of combination that the tuning pack really needs to have to make it kind of feel, well, let's face it, ultimately realistic for the sake of the Kenworth W900. I mean, Cummins engine, it's a Signature 600, straight piped, beautiful massive stacks with the tuning pack as well. I mean, this truck is just beautiful. Let's just put it that way, and the sounds now actually match it. I'll do credit to the stock STS software and American Truck Simulator sounds that are here in, well, ATS, but I mean, let's face it, these sound mods really do a number on it, and I highly recommend checking it out if you're interested in some of these different trucks, and ultimately any of the trucks in ATS. These engine mods, I've used quite a few in the past, thinking of like the engine transmission compilation mod, JC amateurs, and of course these more what I'll call standalone mods, because this sound pack, although it does, you know, the various, well, engine, turbo, even transmission sounds as well, they're more standalone kind of mods that aren't necessarily as kind of overall, shall I say, plug and play. The engine and transmission compilation mod, highly recommend it for just a plug and play, install it, just download it, activate it within your save. You don't have to even go into the truck configurator to change any form of engine option. It will just overwrite basically whatever sounds that you're using. Doesn't matter, it'll just kind of work. This engine in particular, you have to actually select within the options there, and well, it's a standalone engine itself, but highly recommend it. It is fantastic, and we'll get some different action here. We'll use some Jake brake in a little bit later down the line here, but as we're cruising, well, we've got a few things to talk about. First and foremost, Nebraska is confirmed for American Truck Simulator. Yes, it sure is. And actually, let's just hold off on that thought. Let's use some engine brake, shall we? Beautiful, beautiful Jake brake. If you ask me, that is a fantastic one. That is a very lovely sound indeed. Some of these Jake brakes are kind of hit and miss, I won't lie, and a lot of you who've been around here for a while or just are very familiar with the ATS landscape, some of the Jake brakes are hit and miss, especially on the sound mods, but generally speaking, the sound mods are pretty solid. It's more base game that they do suffer, but this mod, very, very well done indeed. There's actually no sound clipping as well, because according to the mod author, everything has been attenuated, as far as I know. That is the word that you would use to be able to basically make sure nothing is clipping, no matter where you are. If you spin your head outside the window, anything like that, the sounds aren't going to sound distorted and pretty much like garbage. But let's talk about Nebraska. Well, it's finally confirmed. We kind of knew it, let's be honest, but it is great to finally have it confirmed here for ATS. It's something that much needed to kind of have that confirmed and out of the way, although, you know, we basically knew it. let's face it, there wasn't really too much of a secret there, but it's great to have that finally confirmed and put any form of, let's see, what's the word for it? Speculation, there we go. Speculation to bed. Now, I guess I can just kind of go ahead, can't I? It's more of like a, not necessarily a stop, more of a yield. That would be probably the wise thing to assume. Let's go ahead and continue through here. But yes, great to have Nebraska confirmed, and it will be within the next, well, most likely, few weeks into months. Well, quite obviously, we'll get to learn more information on the state and what it will bring. But it seems like Nebraska will be a quite nice state to have. I mean, all of them are very nice indeed, but an extra state is an extra state in my opinion, and I'm always going to be happy about that, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of touches SCA Software includes within the DLC to make it even more unique than Nebraska is already. But the other thing that actually a few of you pointed out to me, that in terms of, you know, when some of the updates have come into ATS recently, and something that isn't really talked about but is a huge game changer, is the cabin, or, well, obviously the bumpy roads, let's call it that, and also the cabin ride feature of just how well it kind of, well, how the truck rides now across the roads with the cabin suspension and all that. It really does, when you actually focus on it. For example, if you watch this video back and you kind of focus more than on the horizon line of the truck and how it's going over the road and stuff like that, and the movement that's there, and the roll even, I've noticed in some of the corners, besides even suspension setups, and obviously in the settings, if depending on how you have your cabin and suspension setups, in terms of slider, that will affect performance obviously, but it is a pretty massive feature, to be honest, in terms of realism, but it's something that has definitely been kind of overlooked, I'll be honest, by myself even, but a lot of people as well, just because it's almost so good that you don't notice it. Think on that, because for example, the bumpy roads you will notice, but just the cabin suspension and how the dynamics work, it just feels so realistic and so natural, I should say, that most people won't even pick it out, and that's probably a good thing. If it was so atrocious that you'd actually notice it, well, I mean, would we really want it enabled in ATS? Would it make it any better? I don't think so. So it has been a very well done feature, in my opinion, something that isn't necessarily as noticeable, but it definitely adds to the entire realism of the game. And just like that, we're rolling up here in Lawton to our delivery point. Yeah, it's definitely a short delivery today, but you know what, sometimes short and sweet ones are good, and that was a little bit close, but luckily got the handy dandy markers on the front of the truck, on the bumper, got the little I guess the little corner markers, that's what I'll call them, that stick up, which are quite a handy addition if you ask me. Let's go ahead and turn left. Not sure if we're actually, it does look like we are delivering this dry cement to the home store, also known as the knockoff Home Depot. Not sure why they need this much bulk concrete. Hey ho, maybe they do the packaging for themselves. I'm not going to complain on that one. They can figure it out. I'm just going to guess create a pile, maybe? Not quite sure. Yeah, not sure on the logic on that one, but whatever. We'll figure that one out. Hopefully this delivery is a little bit more smooth sailing for me. The last couple videos I've had pretty atrocious reverse situations where they've been blindside, and I think this one isn't looking so great for the sake of blindside. I've had some pretty rough goes there, but let's see what I can do. Actually, you know what? It won't be too bad. Luckily, we're rocking a short wheelbase Kenworth W900 today, so I think this is actually very much doable in terms of realistic approaches. And I mean, this dry bulk trailer is the largest chassis frame that they do have available for purchase here in ATS, but it's, at least in terms of the single, but it's actually quite, well, it's not as long as, for say, like a 53 footer or whatever trailer, or especially the heavy haul ones, the low decks and stuff like, or the low boy trailers, sorry. But this should be quite, actually a fairly simple reverse here. I know I'm looking out the window. Call that cheating or not, I don't know. It's up to you. But look at this. We're just gonna kind of nail this delivery, or at least nail it in my standards, which may not be perfect, but hey, it will do. Call it straight enough. I think that is half decent. Not necessarily parked smack dab in the middle of the parking spot, but hey, they'll take it, and that's all I care about. Let's go ahead and shut off the truck here. sounds great as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. What an incredible engine mod. Highly recommend it if you are interested, obviously, in sound mods that just kind of liven up the truck a little bit, especially if you've purchased the W900 tuning pack. I've seen a lot of great images from the community around. Thank you for sharing those with me. Great configurations overall, and I'm trying to shake it up a little bit today, and I didn't really talk about, until now at least, the configuration of this truck, but I think it's a pretty clean build if you ask me. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.